Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. You are welcome to the new chapter. It's about transport in flowering plants. The chapter is included in both O-levels biology 5090, Igcse biology 0610. My name is Adnan Khan. Today we are going to discuss about the basics of the transport in plants. So remember, there are two types of plants that we have. One are smaller plants and we call them simpler plants, but the other plants, they are higher plants, they are complex, they have proper vascular bundles, a system of transport, so they need transport because they are much higher than the level of earth. In this chapter, first of all, we are going to discuss about the requirements of transport system in flowering plants. Why the transport system must be there in plants. So as you can see in this diagram, the water along with minerals, actually the minerals are mostly dissolved in the water, so they are transported by xylem from the roots to the aerial parts, or the parts which are exposed to air or above the ground. Similarly, photosynthesis is a process that makes food, so the products of photosynthesis, the amino acids and sugars, they are being transported from the leaves to the lower parts, and they have been shown with the yellow arrows. So these are actually the xylem and phloem. They need to be working in order to transport substances from lower parts to upper parts, or from upper parts to lower parts, or in both directions. Functions of vascular bundles. Actually, xylem and phloem are collectively called vascular bundles. So vascular bundles are special tissues in plants that transport substances. The xylem is always going to transport water and mineral, and phloem are going to transport food, the prepared food in the process of photosynthesis. And also there is a way by which you can actually remember what is transported by xylem and what is transported by phloem. For example, in alphabets of English, when you say it's like A, B, C, D, and then you reach W and then X, Y. So here you can state that water, W, water is transported by XY, which is xylem. Okay, so when you reach the W, X, Y, so water is always transported by xylem. And as I told you earlier, the water also contains minerals in it. Similarly, PHLOEM, which is phloem, the PH gives a sound F, and that actually can also stands for like food. Okay, so phloem transport food. Plants need to transport water and dissolve mineral ions from roots to leaves, because water is one of the requirements for photosynthesis. In the leaves, the water is going to be combined with carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight to make food in the process of photosynthesis. This task of carrying water from roots to the leaves is performed by xylem. Water movement is always unidirectional. What does it mean? It means that water in a plant body will always move in one direction. It will never come back. Why? It will never come back. The reason is that the water molecules over here is going to be used in the process of photosynthesis, but the remaining water molecules which are not required, which are surplus, they are going to be transpired. They are going to be evaporated. Okay? The process is called transpiration. I hope you already know about that process. So it's lost to the environment but never returned back, because surplus water never returned back to roots, rather it is evaporated or transpired. What about transport of food? the sugars and amino acids from leaves to other parts of the plants. Although glucose is the sugar that is formed in the leaves during photosynthesis, but for the purpose of transport, it needs to be converted to sucrose. So always remember that the sugar that is transported is sucrose and not glucose. And what is sucrose, by the way? Sucrose is a disaccharide. You can refer to my previous video about the biological molecules. Sucrose is a disaccharide that is made by combination of glucose plus fructose. So the sugar that is formed in photosynthesis is glucose, while it is transported in the form of sucrose. So phloem always contains sucrose. Movement of sugars and amino acids around the plant body is also called translocation. The translocation means changing location, and phloem of the vascular bundle perform this job. And remember that the flow in the phloem is always bidirectional. What does it mean? Food may be coming from the leaves to the roots, where it is mostly stored, but when there are no leaves on the plant, such as in autumn, some plants actually shed away their leaves, so then the required food is going to be transported from the roots back to the parts of the leaves. So the direction of food is actually bidirectional. Food can be transported in both ways. The next we are going to discuss in this chapter about the position of xylem in various parts of the plants. Let us see how it looks like. Where we are going to expect the xylem. So when you look at the transverse section of the dicot leaf, you might have discussed the structure of leaf in the chapter of plant nutrition. Here I'm just giving you a brief overview. We have the epidermis right here, and this is the palisade mesophyll cells, where there is abundant chloroplasts, and over here we have the spongy mesophyll, and in this region you always see a circular shape with the xylem and phloem. Now remember, xylem will always be above, and below of that there will be phloem. Okay, so the position of xylem is upper, and lower there will be phloem. How would you identify their individual cells? As you can see, the xylem vessels are hollow and they have thick walls. So this actually makes their cells a bit larger and conspicuous, so you can see them clearly, just like this. These cells represents xylem, and below them the blue color cells, they are phloem. In stem, we can expect them to be on the inside, because on the outside we have phloem. You can see many cone shapes just like this. It is distributed in this manner. In this one cone, we can see that to the outside is the phloem, just like this. As you can see, this is phloem, and towards the inside is the xylem. And remember that the walls of xylem are very much thick. In papers, they might ask you about, there is an insect called aphid that feeds on the phloem. So give 3 reasons why aphid is feeding on the phloem and not on xylem. The first reason would be that the walls of the phloem are soft as compared to the walls of the xylem, so it cannot be pricked. The second reason would be that phloem are on the outside, so it comes in the way first. And the third reason would be that the phloem contain manufactured food, and the aphid is interested in food, otherwise he can find water on earth as well. So this is how they are located in the stem. If we look at the roots, this is the position of xylem and phloem. When you look at the micrographs, often the cells of xylem are present in the shape of X, just like this, or you can say the star-shaped xylem in here, and between the arms of this star-shaped xylem, these cells in between these arms, they are called phloem. And again you can see that these cells are less conspicuous than xylem, because xylem have wide lumen for the free flow of water. They have thick walls. As you already know, their walls contain lignin. Along with cellulose, their walls are further strengthened by lignin. So this is a summary of the location of xylem and phloem. The phloem in leaf is located below the xylem over here, just like this. So if this is a cone, we see that the phloem is on the outside, or on the lower side, sorry, and xylem is on the upper side. In the stem, the phloem is on the outer side over here, and xylem is on the inside. And in roots, we can see that the xylem is actually making a star shape, and between the arms of this star shape, we can see tissues of phloem. That's it for today. I hope you liked the video. I hope you got some information. If it is so, kindly let me know, and please give us your comments and your requirements so that I can come up with another video based on those suggestions and requirements. Thank you very much for watching. Allah Hafiz.